Welcome. This is Michael Bailey at the Harmony Library, and today we're going to do a lesson on Google Docs. This is our second lesson in the series, and today in our lesson we're going to talk about how to change and emphasize the font. Specifically, we're going to talk about how to change font type, change font size, how to bold, italics, underline, change font color, and highlight font. So I'm going to go over to our program. Here's Google Docs. In Google Docs, we're going to focus today on this area of the taskbar. So one thing to notice as you hover over an item on the taskbar, Times New Roman, it tells that's the font. This tells me font size, bold, italic, underline, text color, highlight color. So if you don't know what something is on the taskbar, if you hover over it, a drop-down box will show you and tell you, explain in words what it is. So let's get started. So here is a poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And it is kind of hard and small to read. And we're going to assume that the teacher would like us to place the document in Arial font. So we're going to select the entire text, and we're going to change Times New Roman to the font type Arial. With it still selected, I'm going to change it from font size 10 to font size 14. And it makes it a little bit easier for teachers to read. And different teachers will have different requirements for their class, but we're going to assume that a teacher asked for Arial size 14. Next, we're going to look at bolding some text. So we're going to take the title, and we're going to highlight the title, and we're going to click on bold, and that will bold that text. Then we are going to select the author's name, Robert Frost, and we're going to put it in italics. And not only italics, but we're also going to underline. Now, one caution I will say as you work on a document, don't overemphasize or emphasize everything. If you emphasize too much, then the opposite actually happens and nothing is emphasized. And so you want to emphasize just enough, and you want to have your emphasis to be a correct style, but don't overemphasize. But for demonstration purposes, there we have bold, italics, and underline. Next on the menu bar is text color. So I'm looking down in my poem, and I notice that some of the words in the phrases rhyme. And I'm going to change the text color for rhyming words. So would and stood both rhyme, and also could. So I'm going to select it like that, and then go up here to text color and choose that. And I notice also both and undergrowth rhyme. So I'm going to select those, and I'm going to place them in a similar color. That's one way to emphasize in color. Another way to emphasize with color is to highlight. So going down to my next stanza, I can highlight that. And I don't know if I use stanza correctly. Maybe it should be called a paragraph in a poem, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to use yellow to highlight fair, and then I'm going to highlight where. And this is like if you used a highlighting marker, the text remains black, and then the color behind it is highlighted. Okay, and then the last thing, if I wanted to highlight the other two rhyming words, I'll use that and that. And there we go. Okay, so today we practiced changing font type, changing font size, bolding some text, putting text in, underlining it and italicizing it. We changed text color, and we highlighted text. Thank you for listening to my lesson.